to our regular board meeting, which is scheduled to start at 7:05. It's really just about that time right now. So I'm calling to order the regular meeting of the Maine Township Board. And what we'll do now is stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to all our guests this evening. So we have a number of items to get through, and we'll try to move through them fairly quickly. All right, I think we need a roll call on the record.
Absolutely.
Mr. Clerk?
Assessor Cry.
Here.
Highway Commissioner Bouvet.
Here.
Clerk Giuliano is here. Supervisor Diamond.
Here.
Trustee Jones.
Here.
Trustee Horvath.
Here.
Trustee Maher.
Here.
Trustee Malik.
Yes, go ahead, sorry.
Okay. All right. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the January 24th, it says here on our agenda 23, but I believe it's 24 board meeting. May I have a motion to approve those minutes?
Motion to approve minutes of January 24, 2023. Second.
Okay. Are there any comments or corrections to the minutes of January 24th, 2023? This is 2023. Yes, correct. I'm sorry. Just looking at the other. Any corrections or comments? All right, may I roll call then?
Supervisor Diamond.
Yes.
Trustee Jones.
Yes.
Trustee Horvath.
Yes.
Trustee Maher.
Yes.
Trustee Malik.
Yes,
All right, thank you. May I have a motion to approve the general assistance expenditures?
Motion. Oh, go ahead.
motion to approve payroll for pay dates of February 3rd, 2023 and February 17th, 2023, and the general assistance checks 54407B through check 54717 in the amount of $52,682.09.
Second.
Okay. Any questions about those bills? All right. May I have a roll call?
Supervisor Diamond.
Yes.
Trustee Jones.
Yes.
Trustee Horvath.
Yes.
Trustee Maher.
Yes.
Trustee Malik.
Yes,
All right, thank you. May I have a motion to approve the road district expenditures?
Motion to approve payroll for pay dates of February 3rd, 2023 and February 17th, 2023, and road district checks 22,741 through check number 22,794 in the amount of $307,577.32.
Second.
Any questions on those bills? All right, roll call?
Supervisor Diamond.
Yes.
Trustee Jones.
Yes.
Trustee Horvath.
Yes.
Trustee Maher.
Yes.
Trustee Malik.
yes,
All right, may I have a motion to approve the general town fund expenditures?
Motion to approve payroll for pay dates of February 3rd, 2023 and February 17th, 2023, and general town fund checks number 59955 through check number 59959, and checks number 60001 through check number 60061 in the amount of $265,195.51. Second.
Any questions on those bills? Roll call?
Supervisor Diamond.
Yes.
Trustee Jones.
Yes.
Trustee Horvath.
Yes.
Trustee Maher.
Yes.
Trustee Malik.
yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we're at that portion of our meeting, which is for public participation. And we do have one request, and that's back to you, Mr. Amir. Mr. Amir?
My turn?
Yes, it is, yes, it is. You want to stand up?
Yeah, of course, working the spotlight, that's fine.
Well,
So,
Can you take our podium, please, sir?
You want to come up here?
So everybody can see you.
my face?
Yes, right there.
Oh, I get to tell you tonight. Oh my
yeah,
God.
it's a microphone.
This is my first time doing something like this. I feel like a judge. So, I got one question. How many of you guys are aware of the fire that happened on Noel Street over there?
Yeah.
A few of you. Well, I got all my neighbors here with me, and we're having a huge problem on moving back in. That's one thing we want to address. The second thing is parking. think we talked about it last time, permanent parking. Third thing is, our alley is a disaster. It's horrible. We want to get that fixed. And the fourth thing is, my neighbor got his car stowed because of the fire, and he's trying to get his money back. And I feel like you guys are responsible for that.
Can
You're right. Normally, and during public participation, we just let members of the public talk, but since we do have some responses to you, to the matters you just mentioned, I think we'll just sort of air that information now.
Okay,
Yes,
so after our meeting last month, you remember Penny Maytech
I do.
from the Cook County Sheriff? Did she talk to your wife or something?
Yeah.
Yeah,
She
okay.
talked.
So she mentioned, I talked to her today, she said that she is working, or she contacted her contact with NICOR, and they said that until all the investigations are cleared through all the different agencies, they can't turn on NICOR. Was that your understanding?
I think that's
I
correct.
spoke to her about a month
Okay.
ago. I've again spoken to NICOR Gas numerous times this month, and it's usually different stories because their customer service representatives, I don't think are aware, by the time they
Okay.
call their scheduling department to know what's going on. So we're the Sumac Road right here. So we are right in front of Noah where the fire happened. We have not been able to move back in since January 4th.
Right.
The last piece of information we got was that one of the, not the house that caused the fire, but the one right next door, which is, it's gonna fall down any day now. Natural gas cannot come in due to the structure and them being scared to do any work there. Apparently the homeowner exceeded his insurance, so he has to come out of pocket to get that torn down so natural gas can come in and can come in to do any work. He's obviously not picking up because, who would? You didn't even cause the fire, he's not going to want to come out of pocket. Not only did he lose his home, now he has to come out of pocket to do it, so we don't know now, what's going to happen. I don't know who sues him or, because we're now waiting to move in and our homes weren't affected by the fire. But my home specifically flooded twice in the last 2 weeks. It flooded, my husband redid the entire basement, finished it a few days ago, 2 nights ago, re-flooded again.
Why can't Maine Township do something?
There's all 4 of the townhouses are right directly in the back that were not damaged. They're flooding because there's no electricity to pump out the water.
Right.
And that's damaging all the floors. Now it's more damage to our living. And it's not unacceptable.
We just spent thousands of dollars to rebuild, to do the basement again after the first flood 2 weeks ago. And then 2 days ago, it re-flooded. And everything was brand new down there. And it's probably going to flood again, even though my husband got a backup pump. But I guess because of the cold, it shuts off. I don't know too much about that. But it's going to probably flood again. So we're not touching it now because we're scared. But they're right next to us, and there's going to be that water, even though we did, he pumped out the water, I don't know how to say it exactly. But it's affecting now their home because it's slowly, going into their home as well. So it's going on 2 months, and everybody who speaks to really doesn't know what's going on. Whoever we speak to just tells them we have nothing to do with this and don't call them.
But as the Maine Township, who is responsible to tear down those buildings over there that they're actually affected in the fire?
So I have a question. I don't know, Nader, if you're aware. Has that been stickered by Cook County Building and Zoning over there?
Yes.
It has? So they've ordered that can't be occupied.
Yeah.
And are they taking any action on their end?
No.
They're not taking any action?
Nobody,
No
Nobody.
one's affected.
in the dark.
Can I just say one thing? The only 2 people from Maine Township that have been the biggest help have been Nader and Eddie. They're the only 2 people. I was coming here almost every day. I got no info. I called Micro Gas, no info. I called Cook County, no info. I even went to Des Plaines Town Hall. They have nothing to do with it. I don't know if you guys can step up and just do something about it. Because there's 4 families that are technically homeless.
And it's not just NICOR, it's ComEd that's shut off, it's...
Everything. Water, Nightcore, and Economy.
Okay, so when you talked to Penny, did I misunderstand what she said, or is that what she
I spoke to her
told
one
you?
time. She
Yeah.
did speak to some lady that used to work in NICOR, or doesn't
She
work for
does.
that specific department anymore. And the lady, she gave Penny her number, she never called me, but then Penny called me back a couple days after the last meeting, and she just said, I don't really have much info for you, just the fact that Macro can't come in until that last building, that's supposed to be getting torn down.
Okay,
But that's the main issue for these 2 months.
that's not what she told me.
Wow.
The way I understood it, she said, maybe I misunderstood, she said, until all the investigations were cleared. So whoever's the
We were told that the investigations are clear by Scott Peters and the fire.
Correct, investigations are clear.
Okay,
Yes.
so then Nycro should be able to turn on if that's what.
They can't.
They can.
It's a safety hazard. The building is about to collapse. They can't.
Okay.
So the building needs to be demoed, that's the issue.
And nobody wants to demo.
Okay, so is
All right,
Cook County,
could you just sort of raise your hands out there if somebody wants?
These
to-
renters or owners?
Owners,
Owners.
which makes it even worse. We pay
So is
taxes.
there a town, a house association?
No.
No, they're simple.
And how many owners reside?
Four.
Four units, all affected by the fire line regulations, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, townhouse, all right.
You know, being the assessor, I need you to keep all your paperwork and that you can go into your buildings. It's uninhabitable because when you come to us, not because of 2023, it'll be next year, we're going to be able to do some exemptions for you on your taxes. Okay, so we need all your paperwork.
We don't have.
Just
any-
keep everything.
Nobody gives us any paperwork. Our insurance
Take
companies are asking-
pictures, take everything,
Yeah,
fire
we have
reports,
our insurance
police reports, we need all that. We need a shut off from night court, we need all
We
that.
don't have any.
We don't have nothing.
When my insurance company has been asking, because they're paying us so that we their hotels and family, they're asking like, okay, you guys are not going to get me to, our properties and
Our insurance
so why don't we ask
Just
them?
going back in.
Okay, now, yes,
That's what they're supposed to do, they put up substitute residents.
nobody can just for me to provide my insurance company. So
No,
let's
excuse me, I'm sorry, I have to get some order here, we have multiple conversations going on. Our secretary is supposed to take minutes, we're supposed to be recording this, so we can't just really have people yelling at each other. So I can recognize one speaker at a time. Chris, if you'd like to go up to the mic since you're talking a lot, do you want to step up here? No, you come on up because you're doing most of the talking. So,
I'm getting asked questions, so I'm just answering.
all right, now, is there anything else that you wanted to add? And then I'll see if any other of the employees or board members or officials have any other responses.
I mean, just like you said, we need to gather paperwork to provide to you. I don't have any paperwork, and I don't think my neighbors have any paperwork either. Nobody's giving us paperwork. Besides the sticker that's on my home, that's really all I have. And pictures of the damage from the floods and the fire to my home. I don't have any paperwork to even give my insurance.
Okay. Eddie, did you have anything to add, especially regarding that alley?
well, as far as the alley goes, I mean, there's a couple issues to address. I know you guys are frustrated, and rightfully so, but Cook County is the responsible party for what's holding this up. Building and zoning is responsible for following up with this building owner to make sure that it's either A, torn down or occupied. So that is the jurisdiction that's in charge at the moment. Hold
They
on.
don't care.
Well,
That's all I can say.
But they're
We
the-
call, they don't care.
they're the jurisdiction responsible.
But they
I'm
don't
just telling
care.
you.
That's why we want you guys involved, for you guys to call them, you guys to push them.
We
We
will,
can't call people every day. We gotta work.
I understand.
Who did you talk to there?
I don't even know. Like 10 people, numerous people. Nobody knows. They give us a runaround. They just don't care.
They
It's
just tell
plain
us
and
they
simple.
have
They
nothing
don't
to do
care.
with it.
The only two people that care is Nader and Eddie, because they help us out. I come here, nobody helps me out. Only them two. That's why I'm bringing it up tonight, because it's frustrating. 2 months, we can't move in. Technically, homeless, not just me, 3 other families.
Well, we'll do what we can. I can tell you, we'll do what we can to forward on the issue and press on Cook County, but sometimes it's a process. It involves going to court. It can be a lengthy process, but maybe we could find, I don't know, Austin, is there any assistance that can be given to them?
We don't need
I
assistance.
don't need it.
We just want our house back.
My house.
Okay.
This is
Well,
it.
Sorry for the frustration.
Well,
Like I said,
we're trying to help you.
All right, wait, okay, there's some way to raise his hand. Peter, why don't you step up stand up.
Step up together.
Yeah, the two of you can step up and tell us what you've learned so far in your investigation of this matter.
Okay, so according to the information that we are getting, it's in litigation between the attorneys and the insurance companies. The insurance companies are holding back. 2 of them paid out, the 2 houses that were demoed. The other 2, the guy was making like a $10 a month payment on the insurance policy. He drained it, it's empty. He has no more money. So the way this has to happen, the insurance companies are responsible to demo out these properties. This is private property. As far as Cook County getting involved, they've tried. The gas has not been turned on, the electric is not on, and the water shut down on those 4 units. The 4 units that they're talking about are the ones that are livable, not the ones that were on fire. As far as the parking lots they're talking about, that's behind, Eddie, if you're familiar, it's like Robin Drive, that type of thing.
It's private property.
Right, it's private property.
Yeah.
So Penny mentioned that again tonight too. She'll be here again tomorrow. She said she is working to help you resolve that. She doesn't know what she'll be able to do. But
Yeah,
as
I
far as
know.
having your cars towed, she said, yeah.
So Eddie Olinsky's been in one-on-one with the night court company?
Yeah, the chief arson investigator for Night Court. And for everyone's understanding, the investigation is complete. So again, it's in the vault of this. So it's a lot of, I don't want to say misinformation, but it's miscommunication among many parties. And I think, I don't know how to address this from a township perspective, but I don't know if this is for us to get involved or for us to put some pressure to kind of speed along the process. But Mayor and I have been calling some of the Night Court people and kind of just trying to get the ball rolling since, again, we have different contacts and different numbers that we've partnered with in the past, and they're just giving the customer service numbers. So.
Yeah, and I just have a quick question. I can understand the gas being shut off, but the electric, I mean, you can shut off one unit and have the one right next to it on, so I don't understand why that can't be turned on at a minimum. That seems very puzzling to me.
That's what we asked comment too.
Well,
I don't get it either.
even if they had night court working, their furnaces still wouldn't work because they still need the electric also.
Right, I understand, but at least you can get some space heaters going, you get your sump pump working.
That's at least the pump to work.
Yeah.
Because I had 2 floods and just throwing away money.
Do we think this is something that, like, if we reached out to Senator Murphy or Representative Moylan, like, with their constituent services, like, they would be able to help do anything?
I would think so, it's certainly worth a phone call.
I mean, if it's in their district, like, we can reach out.
Yeah, they're all last choice.
I can do that, yeah, I can reach out to Senator Murphy and Representative Moylan, and, you know, do we have the contact information? Like, does somebody here have that?
Why don't you write it?
Yeah.
I have,
Okay. Do you have phone number and everything?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
How is the insurance company, have they given you guys any accommodations or
Yeah.
anything?
Our insurance company's fine.
Okay.
Well, we're at the point where we don't want anybody's money. We just
Right.
want to go home.
Right.
Yeah. That's the thing. We just, I don't care about the money. I want to go back to my house.
So where do we think this is left? I'm hearing it's Cook County responsible for it, and other people are saying that it's really the private insurance that's responsible for it.
It's the insurance, it's the demolition that needs to be done, so that it's, who's paying for what?
I'll do it for free. Just run it out there. They said it 20 times. I don't mind.
Some of the insurance companies cooperated, but 1 or 2 did not, is that what you're saying? So some of the units were.
One that's not cooperating.
I mean, is there any litigation for them against the insurance companies? For failing to do anything?
Nothing that would be quick.
Well, can't this,
The Department of Insurance
Yeah,
complaint.
can the county condemn it and then
You can complain to the
go get
Department
the
of
county?
Insurance, if you have the policy.
That's what makes perfect sense to me. They can condemn it, and then the county, it's up to the county to go back
Yeah.
and sue to get their money back.
Yeah.
They can leave it improper for the cost, but that can also require going to court as well on the county's part, so that's
It's
a
a process.
process as well.
You gotta know what your policy says too, if they have a copy of it. It should be provided.
I don't care about my policy's good. It's their policy this time.
Who's they?
The one that can't afford to, the ones that exhausted their
Yes,
insurance.
it's the fire bill.
The other homeowners that are more disadvantaged, right? They don't have the policy.
And your insurance company can't go after their insurance company?
Well, ours is gonna go after the one where the explosion actually
Right,
happened,
right.
but at this point, it has nothing to do.
Because I would think they would want to get you back in your house too.
Right, but I pay a lot of insurance, I don't know, my adjuster's just like, hey, I don't want to figure out we're gonna keep paying you.
It was
but-
an explosion, huh? What exploded? A boiler or something like that?
The house.
Look, there's been multiple stories.
Maybe you could link it to a disaster relief fund or something like that as a way to get around the insurance company issue somehow. Try to go a different avenue, to call it different type of a loss.
They were suspecting arson in that first
Yeah.
unit.
There was no evidence of that, though, of course.
Pardon?
There was no evidence of that, though, right?
No,
Arson,
nothing
they
yet.
found nothing.
No reports have been released.
Okay, at least last month, the fire chief said there was no evidence of that, but I don't know, it might have evolved since then.
So it sounds like what you really want to happen is first is condemnation, and get the building down, is that,
Yeah,
that's the very first thing.
yes.
That's the
Because
most
then
important.
nitro gas can do what they have to do, ComEd can do what they have to do,
Okay, all right,
we can move back in.
all right. I will talk with Eddie and Nate or a bit more about how we can help, try to help move this along.
I mean,
It's
they've
not
been a
something
great
that we
help
can
so
do,
far.
we can only make calls like we
Yeah.
can make, and we'll certainly do.
Sorry, we're just frustrated.
No,
I'm not a bad person, I don't like
completely
arguing.
understand why
It's
you're
frustration, that's
frustrated.
all, yeah.
And information hasn't been relayed due to the fact that we've been given dates from companies that just have not been followed through. So we were actually promised this week that progress would have been made. So,
Several times.
several times.
I will reach out to the staff members from Senator Murphy's office and Representative Lynn and just see, I don't know if there's anything they can do, but
Right,
you're in their
Well,
district,
it's-
so
yeah.
I will ask if there's anything they can do, so.
thank you. Appreciate it.
All right,
Thank
Yeah.
you.
okay.
Sorry you guys are dealing with that.
Yeah.
That's a nightmare.
It is. Oh, I got one more question.
Oh.
How can I help my neighbor get his money back for the towing from the fire? Because the sheriff's department forced him to park in the medical building across the street instead of on his parking in the alley. And he woke up in the morning and both of his cars were towed, which he lost a day of work for no reason.
Right, that's what I
Again,
mentioned
it's Maine Township.
earlier.
I don't know.
No, that's not Maine Township, that's Cook County. That was
So what is
Cook County
Maine
Sheriff.
Township for again? If everything's Cook County?
Well, that's the Cook County Sheriff. That-
So we live in Maine Township.
We don't have
Yeah.
Penny, I mentioned it earlier, Penny said that she's working to help resolve it, so she'll be here tomorrow night, so.
So he's got to talk to
Coming
me.
tomorrow? Are you gonna be here tomorrow night?
I can be here, but I can get out my money, if I come here, just waste my time, so I don't need to be here, to be honest with you.
Okay, well, when I talked to her, she said that she was working on it
She
to hopefully
emailed
be
me
able.
also. What pissed me off the most, they sent me to the police department, and I had to send the receipts to an investigator, detective, and 10 days later, she called me. She's supposed to be alert what's going on. She's a police detective. What detective means investigate.
No,
But she doesn't know her job. She doesn't need to be in that office, period.
She's not a
Okay?
detective.
She's asking me questions. She's detective, her name is something Garcia or something.
Oh.
She's asking me questions that she's supposed to be known. She's supposed to investigate the other police department to say what happened during that day. She's asking me when was it clear. Until this day, it's not been clear. As a matter of fact, all my neighbors are still not living in their homes. It's still that very limit where police say do not cross this line, still sitting there. It means that's clear. That means this woman did not do her job. Did not even bother to pick up a phone and see what's going on. Then she tells me, oh, it's the other she's not with us. You can't solve the problem. I said, I don't know if she did her job. Maybe she knows somebody else if she has a job.
I think we're talking about two different people.
Exactly, I'm talking about her name, Judy Garcia. She's the one who was handling it. But Granny, she's working hard. She called me, she said, can you send me a copy of it? I said, your police department already has the copy of it. And the sheriff department has the copy of it. Why are you guys keep asking for more copies? What are you doing with these copies? Like nobody share, nobody. I got this case, sir, your supervisor can handle it. Can you help me? Or then go to the finance department, or which department can I handle it? Or they can go, oh, we can't handle it, I'm sorry, that's it. What's the point? To be honest with you, I don't want to see cops in my neighborhood anymore. To be honest with you, last time they showed me tickets, I had window sticker attached to the car, and they still ticked me. I called sheriff department, I went to the court just to see the judge, so I can see who's that police officer, to say I don't want my neighborhood. I went downtown to make a complaint. They did not even bother to give me a form to fill it out, so we documented official, so the top officials know what's going on at the bar. When those elected people, when they complain to them, there's no documents there. Why? Because law was not letting us make complaints. And I was day before, I went to the court and I went downtown. Tell me what I'm getting for police officers in my neighborhood. Why am I paying them? Can I know you explain to me why? Why do police officers don't get off his car? They said there's windows, they got attached to the window.
I think that we can answer those questions now, but,
Well, thank you.
okay.
I know my money's
All right,
gone.
thank you.
I got one more question.
All right, okay, Mr. Mayor, we actually do have a time limit on our participation, but if you have one more question.
It's just one more.
All right, what is it?
It's nothing crazy. My lovely young neighbor right there, the first woman sitting there, Lynn, we talked about getting permit parking because we have a whole bunch of people from like different complexes park on our street, and it takes up all our parking. And it's been a hassle and an issue, like for the past couple months. Like we can't find any parking. So is there something we could do to get permit parking if that's possible? Like stickers on the window just for that street for Sumac Road? I don't know how that works.
I think we'd have to amend our ordinances to do that, and we'd have to look into whether or not we could issue, because I don't think we do that anywhere else in the township at all, so we've never done that. So that's something that we have to look into. Is this related to the fire, or is this just?
No, it's just
This was a
yeah, just
longstanding,
yeah. I mean, I came here and they told me to come, so.
yeah, okay.
Yeah,
All right,
of course,
yeah,
anytime.
that's something we can look into, but right now we do not have permit parking in Maine Township. So, all right, okay, thank you very much. All right, so the next item is, we've really sort of, I've gone through all the names on the list, so we're done with public participation right now, and we're moving on. Number 6 is old business, but we don't have any old business, so we're moving to number 7, which is new business. Okay, new business is discussion and vote on the road district budget appropriation ordinance for 23-24. So we just had our hearing, Addie, we just had our hearing on the public participation, or rather on the public hearing for the road district budget. And now we're actually really up for a vote at this point in time. So, may I have a motion to approve the Maine Township Road District Budget and Appropriation Ordinance for 23-24, Ordinance 2023 RB-2.
Motion to approve for discussion and vote on road district budget and appropriation ordinance 2023-24.
There's a second?
Second.
Okay, all right. Any questions or comments on that, or particularly any questions for Ed? We already had a chance to ask questions during the public hearing, but if anything else has occurred to you, now's an opportunity to ask those questions. All right, hearing none, and roll call.
Supervisor Bennett?
Yes?
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Horvath?
Yes.
Trustee Maher?
Yes.
Trustee Maliki?
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. All right, we'll go on to our next item, which is discussion of the town fund general assistance preliminary budget and appropriation. So you have in your packet a copy of the preliminary budget for the town fund and general assistance. And this too is a budget which needs to be available for public inspection. And I believe a notice has gone out in the newspaper saying that this budget is also now available for public inspection. And so we are not yet ready to pass it yet. The required amount of time since that notice went out has not passed. But this is in your packet here just for your information and for any possible discussion that you wanted to have regarding the town fund and general assistance budget and appropriation. So if there's any comments, questions you'd like to raise at this time, you can. You, of course, can call staff members anytime between now and next month when you will actually vote on the budget. But this is here in your packet now for your information. Okay? Hearing any questions right now?
That would be resolution 2023-4, Karen Higgins, whereas that's going to be a later document, right?
No, I don't have the number in front of me right now. It's actually.
That's the continuing resolution.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, yes, that would be the next one that we have on our
Okay,
agenda.
all right, thanks.
So the next item on the agenda is discussion and vote on the town fund general assistance continuing resolution. So, today is the last day of our fiscal year. We're starting into the next fiscal year with tomorrow. So what we have here is a resolution that just sort of carries us over until we adopt the next budget. So again, we're, just need the authority to approve bills and make expenditures within the first quarter of this year prior to passage of the budget itself, which I expect will be done at our next meeting. But this is a continuing resolution to carry us through to that point. So do I have a motion to adopt resolution 2023-4, which is the continuing resolution?
Yes, I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 2-23-4 as discussed.
Second.
Okay. Any questions or comments on this? All right, make a roll call.
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Horvath?
Yes.
Trustee Maher?
Yes.
Trustee Malik?
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Next, we are required by the statute to create an agenda for our annual town meeting, which is April 11th. Hope you all have that in your calendar, April 11th, 2023 at 7 p.m. And what we need to do tonight is approve the agenda. So you have the agenda before you right now for that meeting. And what I'd like to get is a motion to approve the April 11th, 2023 annual town meeting agenda. May I have such a motion?
A motion to approve the annual town meeting agenda, which is April 11th, 2023 at 7 p.m.
Second.
All right, fine. I don't imagine there's any questions on it. Any additions to the agenda that anyone wants to make? Okay, all right. May I roll call?
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Horvath?
Yes.
Trustee Maher?
Yes.
Trustee Malik?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Thank you very much. And also, you see in your packet, there is a nomination form to nominate some individual for the Sergeant Karen Later Memorial Good Citizens Award. So if you know of anyone who is deserving that award, please do submit that.
Yes. Please share. Last year we had, I think, 4 total applicants. We'd love to see even more this year, so please share that with anyone you know.
Okay, great, great. By the way, just in connection with our budget, the proposed budget that we have, I just did want to share, I was very pleased to see the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics has said that inflation's down a little bit, and now the rolling average for the past 12 months is just 5.4%. So 5.4% for the past year. So I'm a little bit more confident that our budget will be sufficient to carry us through. Okay. Next thing on our agenda is the adoption of our codified ordinances. Now, as you know, we started this over a year ago, working with Unicode to have them convert our ordinances, which were not particularly well organized, into a very organized and easy to read format. And so we were working with them, and that's particularly Ed and John from the Highway Department, and Nader and Mike from the township. And I spent a great deal of time going through these ordinances and on the phone with each other and also with the Unicode representatives. And finally, they have produced the final product. So I do have here our new code of ordinances in this nice binder here. I think I emailed each one of you a digital copy of it too. And if anybody wants a hard copy, give Alicia a call and she'll be willing to make a photocopy of it for you. So we do have now this ordinance 2023-1, adopting and enacting this new code, which, when adopted, hopefully this evening, will be on our webpage too, for the public to view and easily be able to understand and find the ordinances. So may I have a motion to pass ordinance number 2023-1, an ordinance adopting and enacting our new code?
I will make a motion to adopt ordinance number 2023-1 for our new code.
Second.
Any questions or comments about this? All right, may I have a roll call?
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Horvath?
Yes.
Trustee Maher?
Yes.
Trustee Malik?
Yes.
Okay. Next item is discussion on and possible vote on annual hosting by Unicode. This piece of paper, which is at your place, did not make it into the board packet, but this relates to the hosting by Unicode of the ordinances. And the ordinances are going to be on our website, but Unicode will also, for a fee, place them on their website. I've used Unicode many times in the past to find ordinances for various villages that I was looking up. I mean, it's a very easy to use website. You can find the town you're looking for and go to it and get ordinances very quickly that way. We don't have to do that though. We can just keep it on our website, so it's optional. Ed, I think you're somewhat familiar with Unicode and using it for other towns and villages. Do you want to make any comments about that, about posting it one way or the other? Okay. All right. So I'm just throwing this out for discussion. We have an informal quote here that you see here, $450 for a year annually. I'm waiting for a formal quote, but I haven't received that yet. So I wanted to know what you thought about it. Do you want to spend that money to have it posted on Unicode or not? Or, yes, Ken?
This is just for the benefit of the public? What?
Yes, yes, yes.
To make it easier to find?
Yes, it's for the benefit of the public who might be looking for our codes. So, you know, it's something we could do or not do. It is an annual cost.
I think that,
I use Unicode on a daily basis, yes, but obviously, as a municipal lawyer,
Different.
even I think,
it's very good. It's my, of the main codifiers, I think Unicode is by far, I think, the easiest to use.
and I do think that's where most, even like real estate attorneys that I deal with, that's where they tend to go first, you know, if they're looking for something. So, I mean, for that kind of a cost, I think it makes sense, just
Yeah,
for
it's not very much.
ease of use.
Okay. All right. So, you know, unfortunately, I don't have a formal quote for them, but I think it's going to be about $500. It should be more than $500 a month. Do you want me to pursue arranging for continuing hosting by Unicode? All right. I'll probably come back to you next month with a formal quote. I just haven't received anything yet, but it should be around that amount.
There's a paragraph that says value pricing, that's interesting too.
A month.
It's a month.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm coming back to them next month to talk about the annual fee. The annual fee is $450. Yeah. I'm sorry if I misspoke.
This one says $11.95.
Yeah, it looks.
There's a paragraph that says $11.95 a year, the first 3 months being free. So that's interesting.
Well, what about the $450 over there?
I don't know that we need all these other things. We just need the online code,
Yeah,
right? That's it?
Yeah,
So
right.
it'll just be this first one.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know that we want all these other services.
Right, so for $500 plus, you get 3 months free stuff.
I can find out about those services.
That third paragraph doesn't give the optional services. It's saying, you
No.
read the third paragraph.
The first paragraph does not have all those extras.
No, but the third one doesn't either. It doesn't look like to me, so maybe that's more affordable. But it says my municipal code value pricing, and then they got a different price. First 3 months free, $11.95 a year, which is cheaper than $400 a month.
Oh, no, this is for
No,
the
yeah, I
year,
need it.
that's for the year.
Yeah, right.
Right, but one says standard online co-hosting and the other one is,
Yeah, but then I think this one.
Yeah, I was talking about the standard one,
right,
but we could consider the Mine Unicode, which includes other
Yeah.
products too.
That's maybe.
Why don't we talk about that next?
Yep.
Hopefully I get a fourth one that explains something. Okay, all right, so we're done with that. Food pantry. Just a couple announcements. First thing I wanted you to know is that there will be additional hours at food pantry. Nick, did you want to talk about this? Did you want to?
We're going to be open on Wednesday, starting March 1st, and we're going to be open to the public 2:30 to 4:30 for anybody who can't make it in the morning. So that just gives us an extra day, just in case if 10 to 1's not available Monday or Tuesday or Friday.
So, right, so we will be expanding the hours, not substituting a day, but one additional day. So it'll still be Tuesday, Friday from 10 to 1. And then also an afternoon will be available for people who, if it's easier for them to get there in the afternoon, 2:30 to 4:30. And, you know, we read in the newspaper a lot of benefits are being cut right now, so we anticipate that we might have more visitors to our food pantry. We're also going to hopefully work with the Greater Chicago Food Depository. We did have a call with them last week, and they're going to come and visit, and hopefully we'll be able to use their agency because we would be able to get our food a lot cheaper that way if we could do that. And I'm just really pleased to say how our food pantry this past year has been funded by donors, all the food and all the things we had to buy. Yeah, our donors have been great this past year, they really have. And I also want to just give a little shout out to our volunteers. We have some really fabulous volunteers who work in our food pantry, and I'm very happy to have them. So, all right, our next announcements, OEM. Do you want to come up to the mic for a minute, Eddie? I first heard about the smoke detector installation program, speaking of fire, sort of funny. I first heard about it when I received a notice from the Niles Fire Department, I live in Niles, that they were willing to come into my home and install for free smoke detectors that last at least 10 years. I think they last 10 years or so. They've got a battery inside of them that doesn't have to be replaced. And these are the type of batteries that are now required by law when if you're installing a new type of battery, it has to be this type. Or rather, a new smoke detector, it has to be this type of smoke detector.
Correct.
So we, Dana and Eddie and I went to visit the North Maine Fire Protection District the other day. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I found some information through some of the sources that Karen gave me in the wake of the fire on Sumac and Noel. Of course, the smoke detector would have prevented an explosion, but of course, fires are still real and alive. So I did some information about a grant that was available through the Illinois Fire Safety Alliance. I filled out some inquiry page, got some information back, and filled out a general application and was approved. So Karen, Dana, and I went to the North Maine Fire Department to meet with the Fire Chief Robert McKay and the Battalion Chief Dave Durla, and mentioned that we would like to join in a partnership with them to install smoke detectors for free for Maine Township residents in unincorporated areas, since that is the area that they serve. So there's only some conditions to it, is we would have to be the ones installing it. So Nate or I and a representative from North Maine Fire Department, and they have to own their home. They can't be rentals and they can't be in a homeowners association. So we don't have too many details yet. Our first shipment of smoke detectors are coming in this week, and then hopefully by next month we'll have a program to present to you for distribution and some paperwork and flyers.
That's great.
Okay, all right, yeah, we want to move forward with that. Thank you very much.
If it's a rental, then they get permission from the landlord.
Actually, by law, they're required to, the landlord is required to install them in their homes.
Okay, great. All right, thank
Thank
you.
you.
We look forward to hearing more about this. That's great.
Thanks, Eddie.
Let's see, Richard, could I come up to the mic now? And the next two items are ones that Richard might be able to comment on. We are planning on working with District 63 and Maine West to send therapists there. We have a draft agreement with District 63 whereby we would send one of our therapists over there for about 10 hours a week. Right now, I think we've been sending a therapist there for how many hours a week?
Summer's usually there 2 hours, up to 3.
Okay, she's been at Apollo School.
At Apollo, yes.
And now District 63 would like us to send therapists to a couple more schools that they have. And the agreement that we've had so far, I think, has worked pretty well. One was summer going over there, so we're expanding it a little bit. The plan is at District 63. And also Maine West has reached out to us to send therapists over there. And there might be some grant funding for that too. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. Well, we're exploring applying to the city of Des Plaines, who grants funding for social service organizations to help cover the cost of sending a clinician to Maine West for an entire day per week, so 8 hours. They're interested in making it more accessible for Des Plaines residents, students, families there to receive services. Similar barriers exist that we were trying to work through with District 63, where referrals can be made, and sometimes people just don't follow up, or they have transportation difficulties, and just don't make the connection to come here and receive services in the office. So we're trying to explore doing that so we can provide services closer to where people go to school and live.
Okay, all right. And you're preparing that grant application, is that right?
Yes, it's complete. I plan to submit it tomorrow, since tomorrow at 5 is the deadline. Yes. The decision looks like it would probably be made somewhere towards the end of April, so it doesn't look like it's a terribly lengthy process to find out
Okay.
the decision.
All right, thanks for locating the grant and filling out the application. All right, and
Can't
on
call it
the,
sick tomorrow, we need you.
Right, exactly.
and on the topic of grants, we have a speaker here tonight who's going to address us for a little bit about the climate resiliency grant. And that's Mike Emerson. Mr. Emerson, would you like to step up here? He's an architect and city planner. And Jim Maher brought him to our attention. And so thank you, Jim. And Mike, I have been looking at various grants that we might apply for, and one I came across was this climate resiliency plan, and then I learned that you're familiar with this type of grant. So can you talk to us about how you're familiar and what this grant is about?
Sure. This came up during a conversation with Trustee Maher at an event, and we got to talking about resiliency planning. But from the Americans Recovery Act, there is $16 million that Cook County has that they are distributing among the communities in the county to do climate resiliency planning. And you ask, what is climate resiliency planning? And it's really putting a plan together to minimize the impact of climate events, rainstorms, tornadoes, hurricanes, drought, all kinds of terrible things, to help to increase resiliency, to make stormwater drainage improvements, to improve services so that electricity doesn't necessarily go fail during these events, and to also do things like increase the ability to deal with some of these events and to actually recognize and identify some of these issues. The third thing is really to help to expedite recovery as well. So there are really those three tenets of resiliency planning. So since about 2010, climate-related catastrophes have exponentially increased. They are costing well into the hundreds of billions of dollars in terms of the damage and the recovery. I work for the Lamar Johnson Collaborative. We're the architecture firm that's affiliated with Clayco. I'm an architect, an urban planner, and a landscape architect. And we actually do put together these resiliency plans. We do quite a bit of work in California and Florida, where a lot of this work is actually happening because they're literally on the front lines of where a lot of these catastrophes are taking place, but coastal regions with flooding and storm surge and things like that. But also here in the Midwest, we deal with forest fires, we deal with tornadoes, we deal with quite a bit of rainfall as well. So really taking a look at what a resiliency plan would really have 4 parts. We would analyze a lot of the existing conditions of buildings, streets, things like that. We would identify also what the specific climate threats are and isolate those. We would assess the threats from infrastructure in terms of power going out, gas lines failing, communication lines, and also define the critical operational needs in order to maintain continuity. So what Cook County has offered up these grants through application, and there's an online application through Cook County's Climate Resiliency Program. And what we would be happy to do for any community or the entire township is we would be, because all of you have day jobs, we'd be happy to fill out these applications and submit them on your behalf.
Well, I noticed they're due March 8th.
Yes.
It's a week away. And I've looked at this form, and I talked with another grant writer, and she described it as a fairly easy form to fill out, although it's not real short. No. But some of the answers, we'd have to say no. Have you completed a climate resiliency plan? No. Please describe the plan. Well, we don't have one. What barriers prevented you from completing it, so forth and so on. Is this grant, will this grant pay for preparing a resiliency plan? Because as I read this application, I wasn't really sure if we were expected to already have one, or if the grant would actually pay for a climate resiliency plan.
Actually, very few communities do have true resiliency plans. Even the city of Chicago primarily will rely on their OEMC plans. But climate resiliency plans are really becoming more and more common, certainly from the south and the east coast, as well as the west coast moving inland. But yes, the grant itself would fund a planning effort, and what you would have at the end of that is you would have a resiliency plan that actually identifies and prioritizes issues that need to be addressed, as well as starts to identify means of implementing those improvements. It wouldn't pay for any of those improvements.
But it would pay for the plan?
It would.
Okay, all right, fine. Well, okay, all right. Again, I think I can answer the questions. It's, fairly straightforward. And then I think we get to a point where it says planning consultants will use community input to develop individualized and detailed digital climate resiliency plans. Is that what happens next?
Yes. And would you be looking to do a climate resiliency plan for all of Maine Township?
I don't see why not.
Okay, that is a large undertaking, but certainly worthwhile.
Okay,
Because
and this is just entirely new to us. We just recently found this.
perfect.
opportunity.
I'm Mike Emerson. You have my contact information. I'm more than happy to assist with this and provide any expertise that I can in order to make your grant more successful.
Okay, all right.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry?
I have a question. Would you fulfill our comprehensive plan for this then? Is that what your company would do?
We would certainly be willing to. We would fill out the,
I know you fill this out and then you present a plan that would...
well, we would fill out the grant application just to support you and not charge anything.
And then after that point,
After that, if you choose, if you're looking for somebody to do a resiliency plan, we would be more than happy to do that for you, but you're certainly not obligated.
So the form asks what villages, I think, recognize which villages are within our community, and if we're willing to work with some of those other communities in our area, I think. So it might be a joint one that would be a vision. So.
Sure.
All right, well, we can certainly work on that in the next week.
Sure, please let me know if I can help.
I will. I'll get contact information from Jen.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks
so
a lot.
much.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. All right, so speaking of grants, I've been looking at a lot of grant possibilities lately. There's many out there, but it's really very time consuming to sort of sort through them and try and figure out what we can and cannot qualify for. As you know, we've been talking about transportation and trying to improve transportation in Maine Township. And Justin Cook, I thought was an option from the Cook County Department of Transportation. We had thought about trying to rent buses, but the grant says staff salary and non-eligible expense and the purchase or maintenance of diesel-based rolling stock is not eligible. So, I don't know. Another thing we might apply for is a transit studies to assess what our township needs. But this, actually, what I'm getting around to saying is we might benefit from, at some point, hiring perhaps on an hourly basis, a grant person who specializes in applying for grants. Because this first one is 9 pages long, lots of essays and attachments. The next one I was going to talk about was the Rebuild Illinois, another one, Community Development Block Grants. These are many, many, many pages long and call for a great deal of information and predictions as to what money will have, what will spend, and so forth. So I just throw that out there. There are a lot of grants out there, but they are time consuming to find and to fill out. So if anyone is aware of any grant writers, I'm interested in knowing who they are, and we might at some point consider hiring someone at an hourly basis. So I throw that out there. Any of you ever apply for grants, and have you found that you do them yourselves or assist others to help grow a bridge to do that?
Yeah, I'm currently looking at a couple of them, but like you said, a lot of them are very lengthy in the application process, and some of them, you know, when you look into them, they'll even say that it's not beneficial or applicable to the township, but there are plenty that are available, and you know, sometimes it is worth spending a few dollars for the amount of money that somebody can bring in. You know, it's definitely worth it. So I'm looking into having a part-time person just focus on that.
Are you?
In the future, yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, any comments or thoughts on that? All right, okay. Well, then I think we can move on to official reports. Pete, do you want to talk about the plans for the annual meeting?
Yeah, I'm in the process of working on getting our moderator. I have a couple people in mind that I'm going to reach out to this week to see if we can fill that position. It's something we've done many, many years. It's a pretty straightforward evening, and usually about an hour. I hope everybody can attend.
Okay, all right. So everything's on track for that?
Everything's on track, yep.
Okay, great.
That was on.
Thanks very much. Thanks very much. Ed, would you like to give us an update on the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District work and Lake Marianne in particular? What we heard from them recently.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Supervisor. So MWRD recently notified us that there was some opposition to the Lake Marianne flood project to reduce flooding and reduce the level of their lake over there. They decided that they weren't interested, and even though MWRD could have taken the property by eminent domain, they did not. They chose to just abandon the project. But positively, you know, they're still moving forward with the other areas of the project, including the Farmers Creek, which, in my opinion, is going to be a bigger impact to the residents of the township than just Lake Marianne. So that's moving forward, and that was the biggest probably, the biggest maintenance responsibility for highway department was the Lake Marianne, so we're no longer responsible for maintaining that, obviously, so. But things are looking up and they're hoping to break ground and start construction this year in the fall, so hopefully that moves forward.
All right, now when you said there was some resistance, that resistance was from the residents themselves, right? They resisted the project going forward, is that right?
Yeah, I'm not sure why. There was an issue with the homeowner wanting to sell, and then the homeowners association got involved, and they didn't feel like they were brought on to the project early enough, despite that the project helping them the most. So, yeah, they chose not to continue with that part of the project.
Okay, all right. Thanks for letting us know about that status of Lake Marianne. And Susan, would you like to talk a little bit about this? I have assessor presentation. It's really board review presentation that took place.
Yes, we hosted in our boardroom the newly elected commissioner of the Board of Review, Samantha Steele, was here. She seems to really be on board with residents and being helpful. She brought with her 6 analysts. So we had a lot of participation between our residents and the Board of Review. They did do a presentation. They took applications. And that's just what they did, was take applications. When a resident comes to our office, we not only take the application, but we file the appeal, we look for comparables, and submit them to the Board of Review on their behalf. So they would take those applications and take them back to downtown and see if their analysts can find any comparables that would reduce their assessed value on the property from what the Cook County assessor had originated. So she's a very, I have a lot of good feelings for this new commissioner. She has a lot of accreditation in what she does. She also carries a certified assessor certification, which previous commissioners did not have. And so I really respect her right now and hope moving forward that we do continue a good relationship. We were redistricted with our commissioners, so she is in District 2, which we are in, and the other districts are broken up, 1 and 3. But we're getting towards our end now with doing the appeals for the Board of Review, so if anybody does have anything that they would like for us to submit, it's kind of timely right now because when our time is up, it is up. You will not be able to submit an appeal till next year, and so time is really right now of the essence. Another thing right now, we're waiting for our exemptions, and they are going to be late to apply for the exemptions. We're hoping for forms in April. That's what we've been being told by the Cook County Assessor's Office. So we're looking forward to that. And the senior freeze exemption this year, we had a pass on it the last couple of years because of the pandemic, but now we do have to apply this year. So that's a definite. One thing that we're seeing with the new forms, the disabled person, they will get a pass this year, and so will the, not veterans, they have to apply. But the disabled people will get a pass, but everybody should get a card. You should get a card at the beginning of April telling you what you have to do or the exemptions that you do have. But just to make sure, if you do not receive that, of course, you have to contact your office so we can get it done for you.
All right, Susan, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, Asif, would you talk about the clerk's presentation on February 18th, which you were instrumental in arranging for? Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor. So first I want to thank Clerk Iris Martinez for organizing this program in the Maine Township. And this was very helpful for the residents of the Maine Township. And I also want to thank Mike to help me to make successful this program. And I also want to thank all the board members who attended this program. So after this program, the court operation, Carmen, she called me and she was very happy. There's a lot of people showed that she said this was a successful program wherever they did it, the most people attended this program. Thank you. And she said thanks to the board members also.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, neighborhood watch. Kim, you've talked a little bit about it. Do you have anything to add about the neighborhood watch?
No, we have another meeting tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, so hopefully, for those of you who have not attended before, I know you have, it's the first Wednesday of every month, and the fire department is there, the Cook County Sheriff representatives, and then township, so you can come and hopefully air grievances, or if there are concerns that you have, we're always happy to listen and try to help you sort those things out, get some resolution to some issues. So,
Thank you.
everybody's welcome, of course.
All right. Next announcement is regarding the decennial committees, which are required by state law. Every government body has to form such a committee. Kurt, do you have any update on information about whether we can jointly form a committee that is the township with the road and bridge district?
Unfortunately, the trailer legislation that was passed for this bill included a carve-out to allow certain townships to form a joint committee, unless you're in a county that has more than 400,000 people. So we're not within that exception. That means that the road district has to have its own committee as well. There's no prohibition on having the same community members on both committees, but unfortunately, the way they drafted it, were too big, and then we have to have a separate committee for the road district.
All right. So I've called for volunteers or suggestions for members for the committee before. If anyone has any suggestions, please let me know. Anyone can make any suggestions for community members for this committee? Did I remember, Kelly, did you know?
I had someone in mind, but I think I just was waiting to hear like more of what they actually had to do and what time commitment was involved. So I could pass that.
It's, since these committees are entirely new, there's no real history on this.
Okay.
And I think it may be sort of what you make it in terms of how much time is spent on it. But we do have to have, I think, at least two citizen participants. So we need suggestions. Okay, all right. We are at the end of the type agenda. Does anyone have anything else they'd like to discuss or announcements they'd like to make? Jim?
I say two things. Thank you, Karen. I want to thank Marty Cook. We recently met, Marty and I, with John Malanafi. He's a gentleman who's going to probably be at our next meeting. He's currently the Director of Economic Development for Niles, formerly for Wheeling. And he's got a lot of ideas about developing real estate that will benefit the township. Part of Niles is in Maine Township. One is a teen center that's going to be developed in Milwaukee and Dempster. So as the township, we're hopefully going to learn from him how to develop real estate, so it'll help the township in the future. He'll probably be at the next meeting. And the second thing that I want to thank Asif for the clerk's presentation. One of the things I learned there is I think they're hiring. So if anyone in the township knows anyone who's looking for employment, I believe they're short-staffed now with the clerk's office, and they're hiring. That was one of the things I learned. So if anyone knows anyone who's looking for a job, those jobs have good benefits, and very good benefits. So if anybody's interested in a job in the township, clerk of the county.
I just want to add, next month is coming up another 30 position as a manager in clerk of circuit court, and it's going to be for 16 period. So please check the clerk website. There is 13 position coming up for the manager, for the clerk of circuit court. Thank you.
All right, any other announcements?
to a play at Maine's on Saturday night, I was thoroughly amazed at how entertaining and how talented kids that we had in Maine Township. And two of them happened to be a niece of our trustee and a son of our trustee on our board. It was Ariel, it was the mermaid, Little Mermaid. The scenery, everything was so professional. It was unbelievable, and if you missed it, you missed something really good. I'm looking forward to other presentations. I did go to something else at Maine's, Mamma Mia, and that was incredible too. And I'm really proud that a high school in our community can put on something so good and so entertaining for our public. And, you know, if something else comes up, I'm going to put it out again. We did have posters in our hallway, but kudos to our trustees and their alliance and their in developing these really wonderful, talented people. It was really a wonderful thing. Thank you so much. That's it. Thank you.
All right, so we're now at the closed session portion of our meeting, where we will discuss some matters of closed session. May I have a motion to go into closed session for two reasons. One, for approval and review of the closed session minutes, as we're required to do periodically, and for the discussion of the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees. May I have such a motion?
Second.
Okay. May I roll call?
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes.
Trustee Joe?
Yes.
Trustee Horvath?
Yes.
Trustee Maher? Yes. Trustee Moody?
Thank you very much. Thank you. Don't participate in taking formal action in open session after the closed session. So this will probably be the end of the open session for this evening.